Hi, I'm Carla Schaefer, Auntie Beads designer, and we're going to make elastic rings. I'm going to demonstrate 3 different types of rings. The first one I'm going to show you how to make is using a do-it-yourself Swarovski finding, and I'm also going to use a Swarovski filigree and a Swarovski cube in a 10mm using burstone spacers on the sides. So those would be the materials you would need, the main materials you would need. You would also need to use a 3mm sterling silver bead, and I'm going to string them on elasticity, and this is the smaller, it's a 0.5mm. And you also need some GS Hypo Cement and a nipper tool. These are a very basic little ring, and they're easy to make, and the good thing about them to me is that there's really no sizing involved. So for the do-it-yourself ring, this has got 2 holes. So what we're going to do is we're going to string the first half of the band, and I'm just going to keep my elasticity on the spool until I'm ready to knot it, so that way I don't lose my beads on one end. So I'm going to go ahead and string 10 beads onto the elasticity, and then I'm going to string on the finding. And this is going to be pretty easy, but if you find this a little difficult to string the elasticity into the beads, you can also use a big eye needle, and it'll probably go a little faster. But I'm just going to do this, and then we'll string on the finding. Okay, I've got the 10 strung on the elasticity, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over so you can see the holes. There's a top and a bottom, and so I'm just going to run the elasticity through the top, and then I'm going to string on another 10 beads onto this side of the ring, and then we'll knot. And this will be the first part of the band. And again, I'm using 20 beads on the do-it-yourself ring per band. And then I'll show you a trick on how to knot elasticity where it won't come undone. Okay, now that I've got all the beads strung, the 10 on each side of the finding, I'm going to knot. So the first thing you're going to do is, like you're tying your shoelace, you're just going to go over and under. And then for the second, you're going to go over and under again, but twice. Alright, and then what you do is you just bring your knot together, pull, and then what I like to do is to drop a little Hypo Cement on the knot to make sure that it's secure. And then what you need to do is you want to let this knot dry before you put it on or do any more stretching. And I'm not even going to cut the threads flush for right now. I really want it to set up, so I'm just going to leave it as it is, and then we're going to go ahead and string on the other half of the band. Okay, now that I've strung the 10 on each side again and ran it through the bottom holes of the finding, I'm going to knot. And again, this is just like you're tying your shoelaces. Over and under. Then for the second, over and under, but this time we're going to do it twice. And then pull. And then drop some Hypo Cement on the knot. And the nice thing about this elastic is that the knots will disappear into the holes. But if you like, you can always use a crimp cover to cover up the knot, but it does seem to go right into the holes. Just let the glue set, and then trim your threads flush after the glue is dry. Okay, using the little filigree finding from Swarovski, what I'm going to do in this case is I'm actually going to knot to the filigree. And as you can see here, there's a little notch, little hole right here, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run my thread from the bottom and then back through from the top. Then I'm going just to knot the elasticity here. And what it does is it hides it, so you can't even see that it's there. So I'm just going to knot, just as we did with the others, and glue, and then you can string on your beads. And in this one, since it's just a single band, you probably will only need 20, probably under 20 beads because of the width of the filigree. You just knot, and again, put some hypo cement on that knot, let it set, but you may go ahead and string all your beads for the band. And then you do the knot just the same on the opposite side. And again, now that I've got the band strung up for this one, this time I'm going to take it under from beneath through that first hole. Whoops. And then back from the top. And then knot it. And again, you want to glue your knot and let it set. Okay, on this design, this is what we call a birthstone ring. And what you can do is you can use I'm using a 10mm crystal AB cube, Swarovski cube, and then for the sides I'm using a 5mm birthstone spacer. So all I'm going to do is I've strung on 10 to 11, I think I'd string 11 sterling silver beads. Then I'm going to string on the spacer, and then the cube, and then another spacer, and then another 11 beads, and then we're going to knot at the bottom. Okay, now that I've completed this ring and knotted it and dropped glue on it, I'm just going to show you how you can just trim flush to the beads. And as I said, the 3mm beads will conceal the knot, but you really want to wait till your glue is dry. And then you have completed another ring. Hi, I'm Carla Schaefer, Auntie Speeds Designer, and I'd like to invite you to check out the Learning Center on our website for design ideas and jewelry making projects and other Carla Cam videos.